Hello everyone and welcome back. Now, it's been quite some time since I've last been on camera for you all. It's been 7 months now, I believe. Yeah, about 7 months. Anyways, in that video, of course, when I was last on camera, I was emotionally distraught. I had recently lost my grandmother. She passed away from lung cancer. And, it hit me pretty hard. At first I didn't realize it because it was in February, but when I made that video, I was really starting to feel it by that time. It was a kind of a slow effect. At first you don't know how it's going to affect you, but as time went on I realized, yeah, this is real, It was kind of bizarre to me. You don't know how death's going to affect you. It might affect you straight away or it might affect you a little later. And it affected me when it happened, but I was still trying to comprehend it because I've never had a death in my family before. So as time went on, of course, it did start to affect me and I needed to take a break. So since then, I've been taking the necessary steps. I've posted a couple of things on my channel, a couple of my short films that I've done for TAFE and university, just to kind of fill in the gaps, so to speak, to show you guys some of the stuff I've made. I had to take the necessary steps to heal since that last video, and that was spending time with my family and friends and my partner, who has been incredibly supportive. She's been wonderful and I'm grateful to have her in my life. So you got to be with people who care and love you to get you through something like that. I mean, you got to help yourself, but it's good to have others help you too and then talk to, so to speak, because it just works. That's really what you got to do. And right now I'm feeling much better. Obviously, I can't forget what happened to my grandmother, but you have to move forward. It's taken me 7 months to start getting into a decent level of healing, so to speak. Right now, I'm able to make this video and I've been moving forward, making new videos for this channel with my new equipment, which is significantly better. And I hope it turns out great. I hope you guys all like it once it's completed. The first couple of videos are done. Right now I'm editing a trailer and a film review. That's what I'm up to. Now, since this, I've been, like I said, I've been editing these videos. Something came to my attention, and for a lot of people's attention, actually, anybody who's a YouTuber has now been had their attention caught by this new act that's coming out. It's from the FTC. It's called COPPA. Now, COPPA's been around for a while. It's basically an act that protects children online, prevents children from giving out their personal details and privacy, etc., addresses, whatever. It's basically designed to prevent children from being targeted by predators and all that stuff, which is fine. We need services like that to stop that from happening. That's abhorrent. Children should be safe online and everywhere. So COPPA, I thought, okay, that's what it is. But since 2013, they started to implement these other things. They started stretching it to content creators in a way. I made some notes here to talk about it because I can't do it from the top of my head, unscripted, otherwise I'll go off into tangents. So I've got a few cues here to work from. As I stated, COPPA is basically a online Children's Protection Act enforced by the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. Originally, it was to prevent kids from giving personal info online, which could endanger them from online predators. So that's what it was initially designed for. But since 2013, the FTC has expanded this by including user identifiers like web cookies, for instance, where advertisers can target their ads towards relevant audiences based on their interests and searches. So, when you search for stuff, you're interested in video games, movies, or whatever, advertisers will target ads towards you that are relevant. So that's what that is. The FTC started doing that. Now, us YouTubers are now being targeted as a result of this because We get ads, of course, on YouTube, which are decided by what we're interested in. So this is where it gets tricky. Basically, if you're a YouTuber and you make kid-friendly or child-directed content, you need to strictly make that clear by ticking in the video box before you upload that your content is child-friendly. Now that sounds pretty straightforward at first. It's okay, you just got to tick a box or not tick it. So if your stuff is child-friendly, you tick the box. If it's not, you don't tick the box. That sounds so simple. I wish it was, because that's not the case from what it seems like. Because apparently there's some gray areas here. This is where it gets complicated. From what I understand, the FTC can fine you $42,000 per video if they come across something, even a minute thing, in your video that they can consider to be child-directed or child-friendly, and you haven't ticked the box, basically, because you could unwittingly be targeted. It's such a gray area, and I'll get to that in a minute. So you may make a video that they could consider, the FTC could consider, child-friendly, and you could be fined for it because you didn't tick the box, and it's running ads that are not targeted towards kids. So it could be like an alcohol ad or a car ad or whatever. It could be irrelevant to them, and you could be fined for that because it's impressionable on children and it's not good to target that kind of material, which makes sense, but how do you control this? I mean, this is really difficult. So there's 10 factors the FTC have outlined, basically, as to what qualifies as child content, child-directed content. And it's tricky because out of the 10 things, 7 were irrelevant to me, but I found 3 things that were very much in a gray area. Okay, these are the 3 things that caught my attention. I do movie reviews, I review anime, I've had some video game related stuff, so this is where my concerns lie, which is why I had to remove some videos, and I'll get to that in a minute. But basically, these are 3 out of the 10 factors that caught my attention. So anything that features child celebrities or celebrities who appeal to children will be targeted or classified as a factor, basically, for child-friendly content. Animation, they haven't specified what kinds of animation, okay? They just said animation in their factors, the 10 factors for the FTC. And visual content, whatever the hell that means. You see what I'm saying here? They haven't really made any specifics here. They've just done some very rudimentary outlines, which is a concern, because by 2020, January 2020, they'll be enforcing this act upon YouTube users. So we got until then to start telling the FTC, wait a second, you can't do this. I mean, yeah, there's some things that you might think just because they're animated, it doesn't mean they're child-friendly. Like there's violent video games that are marketed towards a mature audience. There's cartoons like anime like Golgo 13 or City Hunter, which are not child-friendly. They're like 15 plus. So what qualifies as child-friendly? It's very vague. You see what I'm saying? And that's a problem. It is a really big problem. So I think this needs to be fixed somehow. I don't know how, but it has to be fixed. So these are the concerns for us YouTubers. Now, I've heard the FTC is allowing for comments and all that stuff. Hopefully, they'll organize something a bit more fair. I hope nothing, these fines that they're implementing on people who are unwittingly, just doing their videos and may not even realize, that they've got some minute traces of child-friendly stuff. So if you're reviewing, like I said, an anime, for instance, it's animated, it may appear cutesy or something, but it's not marketed towards kids. So you might get done for that, and that's not fair. That is very unfair. So I feel that you just need to tick the box. That's the only way you can make it work. I don't mind that. Doing the ticking of the box, stating, yep, you strongly believe that it's not for kids, should be enough. But this is all based on YouTube's algorithm too. The YouTube algorithm could potentially pick it up and send it to the FTC, and they could just send you a fine and fine you up to 42 grand per offense, apparently, or per video, whatever they decide, which is horse shit. You know, it's just not right. If you strongly believe that it's not child friendly, and if you can Google it and look at it and realize this show, for instance, is not directed to children, if you can prove it, that's all you need. So if the FTC are going to be a bunch of pricks about this, at the very least, they should issue a warning. You see what I'm saying? They should at least issue a warning explaining this before fining you randomly like that. That is bloody bullshit. And I'm sure you could take it to court. But I can imagine that'd be a long process. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, so maybe I could be wrong. Who knows? But this needs to be fixed. This issue needs to be resolved and made clear specifically. The FTC need to listen. Because it's not just for us, but YouTube will be affected too. They will lose a lot of people who will not want to make content for them out of fear of being targeted by the FTC. So when I'm making my new content now, I'm taking into consideration these things. So it's very tricky. So that's all I got to say for this. I'm still going to continue making my videos. You know, you can't go living in fear, but you got to be careful. And of course, I've had to remove some videos because, you know, you can be targeted. Who knows? So you got to take precautions, but don't let it stop you from making videos. Just be a bit more mindful of what you're making for right now. I'm sure there'll be some, you know, news soon updating the whole scenario, making it a bit more clear. But until then, you don't know what's going to happen. So you got to be a bit cautious as far as I'm concerned. So I had to remove a few videos. I'd done a review of Home Alone, and that's fair enough. That's one that would definitely be targeted. So I had to remove that, and I had to remove some anime-related content because some of it could be considered, you know, like Dragon Ball Z could be child-friendly, for instance, and stuff like that. So I had to remove some stuff that I felt could potentially be targeted if the FTC has their way. So that's my 2 cents on that. And I also removed some stuff that had been blocked, actually. Quite a few of my videos had been blocked and I didn't know about it for copyright content because basically I was using footage for review. The Golgo 13 professional review, that got flagged. The Golgo 13 top 10 anime or my favorite anime series, that got flagged. So I had to remove quite a lot of stuff. I'm not proud of doing it, but I had to do it. Because for one, it couldn't be watched, and two, it could potentially now be targeted for, you know, breaching this FTC regulation, which it doesn't, technically. But they might not see it that way, so I have to take some precautions here, and I had to remove the Home Alone review because, of course, it's a family series, so I may not be able to review family films because the FTC and YouTube may see it as, well, you're making family-friendly stuff. And your channel can't be family-friendly either if you're doing... See, that's the problem too. It's also the channels. What is your channel promoting? You've got to be very careful. Because from what I've been hearing, you know, I'm not an expert on this. This is just what I've read and online so far, and I'm working from the top of my head, so please correct me. You know, I'm open to constructive criticism. Just don't be a bunch of pricks because I won't even respond to you. Simple as that. So, anyways, whatever comes from this, we just got to keep making our content, but just be vigilant. That's what I believe. So, hopefully things will be resolved, but, you know, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's what I believe. So I'm going to continue working on these videos and that I'm currently doing, and they'll be uploaded hopefully before Christmas. And I hope you all enjoy them when they come out. Until the next time, folks, take care.